So a hot area right now in the law and on the bar exam is this notion of discrimination based on alienage. Now, when the bar is going to test you on alienage, it's going to be somebody who is not an American citizen, but yet they're not somebody who came across the border illegally. They're going to be somebody who is here, maybe on some kind of path to citizenship, but is not yet a citizen. And you're going to have discrimination where there's a hiring preference made for a job based on a citizen and discriminating against those who are not citizens. Well, it's based on alienage. And before you pull the strict scrutiny lever, I want you to be thinking about who is doing the discrimination. Because if it's the federal government who's making this distinction, discriminating based on alienage, since they have plenary power, there is going to be rational basis scrutiny, meaning the burden is going to be on the petitioner, the plaintiff, to say that this is not rationally related to a legitimate state interest. Likely, that's going to be a losing argument. But if it's the state, and generally on the bar, it will be the state that is doing the discrimination. Now, because that's a plenary power of the federal government, states who discriminate based on alienage typically have to show that the discrimination is necessary to a compelling government interest. They're going to have to show they have the burden because now we're in strict scrutiny, which is a form of heightened scrutiny where the burden is on the government. And before we finish, we should then say, are there any exceptions? Well, you know, if you're studying for the bar exam, there are exceptions abound. And here is one. State discrimination, which typically gets strict scrutiny language or strict scrutiny analysis, if the discrimination is in the area of government function. So now what we are doing is we are hiring for a government job, not just any government job, but a government job as a police officer or as a public school teacher, right? We need state action. So police officer, public school teacher, jury service. There could be a preference for citizens and against aliens, and probation officers. Those are areas of government function where even though the state is making a preference, is discriminating the haves versus the have-nots in the area of alienage, we don't apply strict scrutiny. Rather, we only apply rational basis because it's in the area of government function. And before we move away, let me give you a scenario that the bar is likely to test you on. Watch for a situation where it's a government job, a state job, and the state job is for something like a groundskeeper at a state park. A trap answer would be rational basis, because although it's a job working for the government, it's not one of those sensitive areas where there's any legitimate reason for preferring a citizen over a non-citizen to maintain the shrubs or to mow the grass. We're looking specifically for public school teachers, police officers, jury service, probation officers. Those are the triggers that I want you to be looking for. When you see one of those, don't go with strict scrutiny, rather go with rational basis. So step one, is it the federal government or is it the state? Step two, if it's the state, then I want you to see, is this an area of government function? If it is, rational basis. If it's not, strict scrutiny. You're gonna see those on the exam, you're gonna be prepared for those, and you will get those correct.